All right, good evening. Welcome everybody to our Advent devotional. I am here with Asha Vinyakanda, and she's going to tell us a little bit about Christmas trees. Asha, does your family have a Christmas tree?
Yes.
Can you tell me about it? Describe it?
Yes. It's tall and it's bushy and it's an artificial tree.
And what kind of decorations do you put on it?
We put ornaments, and the way we make ornaments is we make a dough just like Play-Doh, then we roll it, we put it in the oven, then we paint it, and then we can hang it on the tree till it's done.
Wow, that sounds like fun. Let me ask you, if your Christmas tree could talk, what do you think it would say?
It would say, I love celebrating Christmas because it's the day to celebrate baby Jesus' birthday.
Wow, that's a smart tree. Is there anything else you want to tell us about trees?
Yes, that there are 15,000 Christmas tree farms in the USA.
Wow, that's pretty sharp. Okay, here's Pastor Joe to tell us some more about trees.
I have a good friend who loves to garden. And when I say he loves to garden, he's not like, oh, I have some onions and some potatoes. No, he loves plants and trees, so much so that we went to the store one time because we were making hot sauce, and he saw this big old tree there, and he had to buy it. It was a great deal. He had to add it to his tree collection. And so we were trying to figure out how to shove this tiny tree this big tree in my tiny Prius. And so we had to just put half of it out the window and drive 20 miles an hour all up White's Canyon to make sure that the tree was safe. I think if you asked him, what do you love about gardening? He would say that there is something beautiful about seeing the plants grow, about just having faith that if you take care of it, if you water it, it's going to be okay. We are on our second week of these Advent devotionals, and this week we're talking about faith, and one of the ways that we're going to talk about that is just through this simple Christmas tree. I don't know about you, but I love Christmas trees. They're one of my favorite parts of Christmas. It's really an ancient tradition. It goes way, way back. There were these kind of pagan festivals where trees were used as this representation that even though things are ugly in the winter, even though it's snowing, even though everything is dying here, it is something full of life. And so a tree would represent having faith that the spring is coming again. Christian missionaries later would be invited to these pagan festivals where they would say, we have faith not just that the sun in spring is coming again, we have faith in the light of the world. So lights were began to be hung on Christmas trees, representing that Jesus is that light of the world, just like we talked about this last week. Whenever you see a Christmas tree or plants or maybe Christmas wreaths kind of hanging here, here's a question I have for you. What are you putting your faith in? I think we put our faith in a lot of things that just fall short. I think we put our faith in things like our jobs, saying, okay, if I just work a few more hours, if I just make enough money, then I'll finally be happy. And then before we know it, our job is eating us up and we can't pay attention at home with the kids because we've just been putting our faith in our work. I think sometimes we put our faith in our own intellect or the way we want other people to see us, and we're constantly kind of having to drive ourselves to appear smarter, to look brighter, to make sure that we don't have any mistakes, and it just starts to eat us up inside. Sometimes we have faith in our social media encounters. We like the likes that people give us. We like the positive feedback and encouragement that happens from those encounters, so much so that we're just looking for that next like. We're just looking for that next comment. The problem is, in all of these things, our faith may be placed in them, but ultimately they will either crush us or leave us wanting something more. Christmas reminds us that Jesus, this light of the world who has entered into it, is the one thing that will not crush us, the one thing we can place our faith in that will be there for us in the darkest times, because our faith in Jesus is not something where we're constantly wondering, am I good enough? Am I sufficient enough? Because it is an identity given to us, not one that we have to achieve. Pray that this Christmas season, when you see that tree, you would just be reminded of the fact that when you stand before Jesus, the faith you have in him shows you that you are enough through his work. That's why in Matthew 11, when Jesus is talking to his disciples, he has this beautiful yet simple phrase, "Come unto me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Christmas can often be a season where, and Advent can, where often we might want it to be right and perfect and good, and we might even have faith that it's going to be all right, but we just make it so busy and we put so many different activities in it that we lose that sense of rest. When we put our faith in Jesus, we have an identity that is received and not achieved, and he will bring us rest. Pray that when you look at that tree, you are reminded of that simple truth. Now, I want to leave you with this last encouragement. We gave out some Advent devotional bags. Everyone should have gotten one. If you don't have one, you can head by the church office to pick one up. We actually gave you a little evergreen tree in there, and we just encourage you to go out and plant that simple seed of faith, recognizing as you plant it that faith in Jesus is enough.